Hey guys, Maury with 316 Automotive. What are we doing at the shop today? Okay, what you see in front of you here is a 2009 Volvo C30. My daughter's been complaining that the steering wheel is out of alignment and that the car pulls to one side when she's going down the road. And I'm going, well, there's a crown to the road. She goes, no, flat parking lots too. The car just drifts. It doesn't stay straight. So, all right, we'll take it to an alignment shop because I don't have any of that stuff. So she took it to an alignment shop and they came back and said, we can't align the car because all your bushings for your lower A-arms are shot. And in addition to that, your driver's side axle, the CV boot, has separated, and road grit and sand and stuff like that have gotten in there and destroyed the CV joint. So I asked her, well, do you hear clicking when you're turning a corner under a little bit of power? She goes, yeah, what does that mean? Okay, I know what that means. So I've ordered the parts from the good folks at Rock Auto and AutoZone. Here you go. A couple of brand new lower A-arms that I've got and a new driver's side CV axle. This is from AutoZone and that stuff is from Rock Auto. The reason I did that is because Rock Auto here, they did not have a driver's side axle for a C30 with a standard transmission on Rock Auto for some reason. All they had was automatics. So AutoZone had it, and so I went and ordered it from them. Both of these things just came in yesterday, and so we're going to get them under the car and we're going to throw out the old ones. All right, got the car up in the air. I got Ace Mechanic Reese here. Say hello, Reese. Yeah, he's happy. All right, you've got to get what I call the king bolt out right there. It's the front bolt in the A-arm, and then you got that back fitting over there. Same thing on the other side, and that's the side that has the torn and separated boot. So we're going to undo the ball joints on either side, and then we're going to undo both of the fittings here, the front fitting and the back fitting. Remember, this front bolt here, when you get the new one in, do not torque it down. Put weight on wheels, like on a ramp, and let the car settle, and then torque that to the final spec. Otherwise, you're going to be tearing up that front bushing there. Muy importante. Hey guys, here's a top tip. When you're having trouble, you see Reese there? We just undid that ball joint, and we used big old wedge here. You see right here? Whenever you're having trouble getting a ball joint out, if you can't get any tool in there, you can, for the most part, get yourself a big wedge and cram it in there. And as long as you're going metal on metal, and don't destroy the threads, so back this nut off till it's covering the threads, and then get your wedge in there, and you can, there's a certain amount of adjustment with the nut there. And get your wedge in there and then whack it a few times with a sledgehammer. We got the good old problem solver right there. Then that thing will pop off. We gave it 2 whacks on that side and it popped right off because we couldn't get a tool in there, and we were hitting it right on the bottom here to try and loosen it up, and it wasn't going. So it was stuck in there. So that's just a top tip that works out from time to time. Right here on the passenger side, see those 2 bolts right there? You got to undo those. Those are a bracket for the AC lines, and then you can get out the large forward bolt for the A-arm, because you got to move these hydraulic lines in order to get there. So those are 13 millimeter, by the way. You can see the triad joint was all ripped up. Here's the driver's side wheel well. I'm going to show you. There's the oil fill port for the transmission. It's 75 to 85 weight gear oil, and when you take an axle out like we did right here, this axle that you're right next to, good deal of oil comes out, and so you've got to get the car level, get it back up on the air, and pull that plug out, which is very difficult to get to. I had to make a special tool, and if you see oil running out, then you're good. If you don't see oil running out, then you got to fill it. I totally disagree with that, but that's how it is. All right. I used a 15/16 socket. I don't know what millimeter that is, but it fit real well. And I had to cut it in half though, so it was twice as long as this. I had to zip it in half, and if I do it again, I would probably even take another 1/10 of an inch off. And you got to make yourself a socket, and then of course a long extension and a universal joint here, and that's how you can get in here and get around this big subframe member. Very poor design, but that's how it is. So Reese is going to go get some oil and come back, and we're going to fill it, and when it starts coming out, we'll fill it with a pipe, and when it starts coming out, then we know we're full, and we'll put the plug back in. There it is, running out. So now you know you're full. I want to talk about, we had that problem that the axle seal, where's that old seal? Somewhere. This is the old seal here on that new axle that we put in. This started leaking right after we put in that new axle. So you can see there's some damage right where my thumb is. If you could focus on that right there. I'm trying to feel around. All I feel is right there. Good old size nick. And so I must have nicked it when I went in with the new axle. I stabbed the new axle in, so my bad. I got some new seals from E-Aero Parts. That's the new one in there. How you want to get the old one out is once you get the axle out, use the axle puller. Where's that? Right there. There's our axle puller with a clevis on the backside, a fork, and that gets behind the triad, which it forks right back there, and then you start slamming, and eventually you're going to pull it out. It's got to get past the ring, the snap ring right there, and once you do, then it comes right out. We had a booger of a time, but finally got it out. And then Reese took and he stabbed my transmission seal puller into there and just levered the old one out. This one came out a lot easier than on the Saab. I did both on the Saab, and they were bears to get out. They were like almost seized in there. Anyway, this one came out. There's the old one down there. And now we've made ourselves a little tool. Here's the top tip. You see the device I've got here, just some pipe and fixtures made up. You see the seal there. You want to tap around the seal. You want to apply pressure around the seal. You don't want to apply pressure here at the seal itself, but at the metal part. So we found that if we had this plumbing fitting, big old plumbing fitting, it fit perfectly over here, and it transferred the load to the metal all the way around. And then we just tapped it in with a hammer. You place my tool here, the pipe tool, on the hammer, on the seal, and then Reese just tapped it all the way in with a ball peen. And now you can see the seal is sub-flush, so that's good. It's tapped all the way down. I've greased it. Yeah, good camera work there, the Babadooks. So now I've wiped everything out on the inside, so we're going to go back in with the new axle again, and that should be the end of our leaks. You put grease around on the inside where I'm showing you right here on the new one, and then be careful about stabbing your axle in, but you should be all right. And if you need to, sometimes you've got to come and you've got to hit here in order to drive the axle in, and that works as well if the snap ring there is giving you some trouble deep in the axle there. So just be aware of that. That's legal. You can do that. All right, let's go. Okay, we got the axle stabbed back in. There you see it. And we've got the sway arm stabbed back in. This, when you undo this, the sway arm, and you undo the brake line there, you've got a lot more movement with the McPherson strut to pull it back like this and get it out of the way. So, and of course you got to undo it, the caliper. And okay, you got that plugged in? Yeah, we got to do that. All right, that's a 14. 15. Did you tighten this yet? No, I did not. So now we're getting ready. Yeah. Okay, we got all the arms back in, and we got the axle back in on this side, and Reese took it for a test drive. Everything seems good, and so we need to get in alignment still. You know, that's a given, and then the daughter will be ready to rock and roll. So I'm going to call this one job done.